Iowa City Police, open up. Can you imagine waking up to this in the middle of the night? This happened to a close friend of mine in the dorms. He went to open the door and the police proceeded to push him through and ended up going through all the stuff in his room. They ended up finding less than a gram of marijuana in a baggie in a backpack in his room that they said a security guard could smell from outside of his door. They then proceeded to arrest him, walk him through the hallways handcuffed, and fingerprinted him at the station, cavity checked him, and kept him at the station overnight. It was not only so scarring that he was not able to stay in his dorm overnight for the rest of the semester, but it prevented him from getting any government scholarships for the rest of his college career, but it also has the possibility of him not being able to get jobs in the future. In Iowa, marijuana possession of any amount is a serious or Class A misdemeanor. Class A misdemeanors vary from state to state, but some other examples of Class A misdemeanors are DUIs, assault resulting in an injury, and burglary. I've done hours of research and have a lot of personal experience on the negative effects of the criminalization of marijuana, and I think Iowa spends way too much money, time on the criminalization of marijuana. Iowa needs to decriminalize and create a ticketing system to create revenue and free up the jails and cops' time in order to be more efficient. The government is spending way too much money on the criminalization of marijuana, and as you can see here, the debt is continuously rising. Iowa's debt is currently over $22.6 billion. A lot of money is spent on the legal system, and according to the Vera Institute of Justice, Iowa spends $32,925 on each of their prisoners annually. And according to the U.S. Department of Justice, there are 33,655 state inmates and 10,785 federal inmates incarcerated for marijuana-related offenses. And although those are not all for possession-related charges, and decriminalization only is related with possession charges, I think that the criminalization of marijuana leads to more issues with drugs or with marijuana-related charges in general, and that if marijuana was decriminalized, that less people would be likely to distribute marijuana. Due to a lot of teenagers are likely to think it is like a badass type of thing and like a way to make easy money. According to Rebecca Littman, author of Prison Stocks: What Happens When Marijuana is Legalized, 750,000 people are arrested for simple possession around the U.S. each year. So that's a lot of people that are arrested for just having marijuana on their person. That is more than the amount of people that are arrested for murder and rape each year. And I think that the police could be a lot more efficient if they were not arresting these people and could be just giving them a ticket, moving on, and looking for more serious crimes, doing more problem-solving community work, and trying to work in more like high-crime areas and just doing more things that could be more helpful. Marijuana is decriminalized in 16 states, legal for medical use in 18, with 6 more states with pending legislation, and legal in 2 states. So the times are kind of changing right now where it's constantly, just this past year it became legal in 2 states. There are 6 states with pending legislation to have medical in 6 more states. So I think Iowa should follow that pattern and get decriminalization. They clearly have a lot of debt. $22.6 billion is a lot of debt. and decriminalization is a good way to create revenue. Marijuana decriminalization is an effective way to save money with the legal system. Decriminalization saves money by instead of when you take a person you arrest to jail, you have to take that time. You're using your police officers that you're paying through taxes to you're using that time, and you're not only using that tax money, but you're also then you have to house them. And like I said, they're spending that much money on their prisoners. So in Iowa, it is a mandatory thing to keep the possession charges them in jail for one night. So you have to pay for that for one night. And then also a lot of people who get possession charges, it's not that huge as a charge, so they also get a public defender a lot, and that costs money as well. And then, so not only are they saving that money, but if they give them a ticket, then they are creating money. So when they, with decriminalization, each time an offender gets a ticket, it goes up. So the first time it would be like $150, the next time it would be like $300. So it's a good way to reduce the debt. According to E. Single, author of The Impact of Cannabis Decriminalization in Australia and the United States, he quotes, "The available data indicates that decriminalization measures substantially reduced enforcement costs and yet had little to no impact on the rates of use in the United States." So not only is it reducing the cost of enforcement, but it's not affecting the amount of users. So there's no real downside to the decriminalization. Sorry, this is just one. So while Iowa thinks they're doing a good thing by having severe penalties, they're only causing Connecticut, a state of similar size, just recently decriminalized, and they did a lot of research before they decided to decriminalize, and they found that the expense of arrest and prosecution of marijuana possession offenses were significantly reduced in states with decriminalization laws. And not only that, but in this, some states did have a slight increase, but the states without decriminalization had a greater increase, the ones with stricter laws. So while Iowa thinks that they are doing a good thing by having severe penalties and strict laws, they're actually they're probably causing more people to smoke marijuana. And so Iowa needs to spend less money on the criminalization of marijuana. They need to generate revenue through the ticketing system, which would free up the cops and the jails. Have you ever been in a party and seen someone smoking? Due to my audience analysis, though no one responded, I assume you have. According to Debbie Troe, author of Statistics Rise High for Marijuana Use, more than 1 out of every 5 students smokes marijuana. So there are over 10 of you here, so I assume probably 2 of you smoke marijuana. Do you think those peers, 2 of you in the classroom, deserve to get arrested, spend the night in jail, lose your scholarships, and have a record? It is time for Iowa to decriminalize. The only way to do this is for Craig Paulsen, Iowa's Speaker of the House, to bring it to the attention of the Iowa's House of Representatives. I encourage all of you to write a letter to Craig Paulsen and explain to him why it is so important to decriminalize marijuana in Iowa, why it's so important for the citizens, why it would be so beneficial to decriminalize.